Matthew McConaughey shares a story in his book, Green Light. He had just written it a little while back. And it's a fabulous story where he is backpacking in Africa, and just for the experience, just to learn, to grow, to see different things. He has a guide and he's in this new village he's never been at, and he's just meeting this guy. I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's approached in this village by what he finds out is the village wrestling champion. And the guy challenges him. Now, Matthew does not speak the language. He's got this guy to help him interpret. And all of the village is around them. They're all standing around because he's the only one that's different than everybody else. He's way out in Africa. He's not in the cities. He's way out there. And he says yes. He accepts the challenge. He has no idea the rules. He has no idea what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. He has no idea what's going to happen to him. And they get into this pit together, and they're each wearing these white loincloths, like sumo wrestlers. And he just starts imitating what the other guy's doing to him. About 10 minutes later, the thing is over. They're bloody and dirty. And the village chief comes and he raises both of their hands. And the crowd goes crazy. And Matthew walks away and he has no idea what happened, except that he feels like he got roughed up a little bit by this villager. So once they get away, things settle down, and he's just with his guide. He asks him, he said, "What just happened? Did I win? Did I lose? How did I do?" And the guide looks at him and says, "Matthew, you won the minute you accepted the challenge." Man, that's profound. That sat with me and still does. I just can't stop thinking about that. You win the challenge the minute you accept it. Not the outcome, it's the journey. You've heard this before, of course. But here's what happens when you accept an opportunity, when you accept a challenge that's cleverly disguised to look like a challenge, but it really is an opportunity. Your world opens up. Magical things start to happen. About 15 years ago, I'm headed to a funeral. We had about 2 hours before we get there, and I'm supposed to do one of the readings, and it's going to be a big funeral. Unfortunately, it was a friend of mine who passed way too early, but he was a great man. And a lot of people are coming to it, almost 1,000 people. And I'm supposed to do one of the readings. I'm already terrified. But then I get a phone call from one of the family members of my friend who passed. And they said, "Look, there's been an emergency. The officiant can't come. The one who was going to run the funeral, to do everything, the pastor, they can't come. We don't know who else to call. You got to do it. Can you do it, Ed?" Now, I said yes. And I said it immediately because I was so scared. I'd never done public speaking like this, and I was terrified of public speaking. I'd never done a funeral before. I had no idea what to do. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what the processes were. I had never even been to a service that was similar to this. Nothing like it in my life. So I'm coming in totally blind. I'm so scared that by the time I get there, my hands are shaking so bad, I had to hold the microphone with both because I looked like I was having a seizure. That microphone is just bouncing all over the place because I'm just so terrified. 10 minutes into it, something special happened. I can't explain it, but something special happened. I'm standing off to the side because I invited someone up to speak a few words, and two things hit me as I'm standing there waiting for them to finish. Number one is, I realized I can do this. And number two, I wanted to do it. That blew me away, and it launched my career into public speaking. And it was only because I said yes to an opportunity. I won the minute I accepted the challenge. Life is a challenge. Accept it and accept everything that comes your way and watch the special things that start to happen to you. My name is Ed Carcarey, and I would love to connect with you. You can find me at edcarcarey.com. Find your passion.